Hello my friends and welcome back to another Brotato Danger 5 Paws and Claws run. Hope you're all doing well. So, we've done a lot of experimenting with the pets now, and I feel like I have a pretty good sense of how they're going to fit into a run. What I haven't done yet is do a run where we use them optimally in order to try to win. We've pretty much bought every pet that we've seen because we wanted to see how they worked in actual play. So for this run, I'm going to play a little more seriously, and we will try to make optimal choices around the pets so I can show you what it'll look like when we're actually using them as part of a more coherent strategy and not experimenting in the beta. I will use a weapon with the Loud, which is one of my favorite characters that I don't think I've actually played, done a video with, and that's one of the most fun and chaotic weapons for the character. I don't think it's necessarily the strongest, though it's obviously very good. But the nice thing about Lightning Shiv, too, for this run with the pets, is that it will probably mean that the pets are more likely to be an optimal pick, because we're going to be buying both melee damage and elemental damage. We have crit chance as an inherent part of our weapon set. So when the pets show up, they're more likely to be something we actually want. Here I am going to roll once. I'm looking for harvesting, because even though the Loud loses harvesting every wave, if you get early harvesting, it's still very powerful. I would also take armor, attack speed, or crit chance, but we're going to take the harvesting. After this, I'm going to stop buying harvesting on the character, but the first 5 points of harvesting for the Loud are still very good. Alright, so we're going to buy Lightning Shiv. I will leave Cake and Fresh Meat in the pool. We do want to ban level 1 items. This is part of making sort of more serious gameplay decisions, where I think usually banning level 1 items is the way to go. But these are both good items for our weapon set, but I'm hoping that we can find powerful synergistic items like Scared Sausage and Tree more sooner. So we're going to leave those solid items in the pool, but then roll for items that are really good for this character. Do a couple more rerolls here. I'm looking for more Lightning Shivs. We did find one, and then we'll roll again. A little unlucky finding extra Shivs, but it is a weapon with 2 tags, so you're a little less likely to find it than some other kinds of weapons. Of course, the Loud gets a lot of money, so we should have no problem picking those up later on. We will use items like rats and stuff like that for extra clear speed. I think are actually pretty interesting additions to the game, so we will be using those as we see them. Alright, I'll take one more harvesting pickup, and then we're going to go ahead and grab the point of elemental damage. Elemental damage is not bad on the Lightning Shiv, especially because we have this Scared Sausage, because it's going to scale the damage of the lightning bounces, which obviously is very powerful. Nice to find a second one right away as well, and a third one, so some pretty good luck there. Usually I like to build a kind of even mix of melee damage and lightning damage on this weapon, and elemental damage on this weapon. You do want your actual weapon attacks to do damage when you're using the Lightning Shiv, and I think you'll sometimes see the advice to only build elemental damage, because it does scale better for the Shiv since the bounces hit multiple targets, so elemental damage will often apply more frequently. But if you don't have actual melee damage, it can be pretty easy to take hits when you are playing with Lightning Shiv, because your actual weapon attacks won't be killing stuff. Take 4 melee damage there, that's great. And then I don't need to pick up more harvesting on the Loud here. I'm going to reroll. I'm looking for melee damage, elemental damage, armor, or attack speed. Max HP and regen are also pretty tempting, but let's just take 4 more melee damage. That way our actual weapon attacks will be much more powerful. Then we're going to buy all of these items, take a free reroll here. I will lock Claw Tree because I do want more crit chance. Hedgehog, I think I'm going to ban, though. 2 melee damage for -1 regen and 42 materials is pretty inefficient for this character. And then we'll pick up these 2 great items as well. I could throw in one more reroll here for 4 materials, and I will do that because we're playing the Loud. Wow, really paid off there. we want to upgrade our weapons as quickly as possible on this character, and you can be a little spendthrifty with your money. This character has extra enemy spawns, so you just get more money overall. You can afford to spend it a little more aggressively and be a little more wasteful, because the only challenge on the Loud is just staying ahead of the wave. So you need to make sure that you're always getting stronger all the time. Finding weapon levels like we did there, even though it was kind of a wasted reroll, is one important way to do that. I did end up not picking up too much curse there, because we got the loot alien that spawned, so we didn't get either curse alien this wave. That's okay. Pocket Factory is a great find. This is an amazing find for us because we have Scared Sausage. So the turrets from the Pocket Factory will apply that. Unfortunately, I can't reduce my elemental damage. Lifesteal is good with the bouncing shots from the Lightning Shiv, but losing elemental damage is pretty bad there. Let's reroll, and we'll take 10 luck. You definitely want luck on the Loud, because there's so many enemies. The extra chance of dropping consumables and boxes is very, very valuable on this character. Do a reroll here, and then I will take 4 regeneration, so we can start getting some healing going. Pick up another Lightning Shiv, we'll buy all of these items, take a reroll. We'll lock a Pearl for sure. Ugly Tooth is, I think, just not super necessary on this character. It does make elites slightly easier to fight, but that's typically not a problem for the Loud. Though with Lightning Shiv, which isn't a great single target damage weapon, it might be a little better. I guess I'll buy the Ugly Tooth here. It removes one more level 1 item from the pool, so we can get good items like this showing up more often. We'll take the Corrupted Shard as well. So I think on balance, it's just worth buying, but this is a fairly marginal purchase. I'm going to lock the Goat Skull here, but we're actually going to ban it. The melee damage is fine, but I don't want to reduce crit chance on this precise weapon build. And by banning the item, which I'm forgetting the name of, there, we can get a free reroll, because it'll be the last thing in the shop after we buy the other 3. I instantly forgot what item it was that I was talking about, but all we need to know is that it's not one that we want. Killing these curse aliens, so now we're starting to pick up a decent amount of curse, and you can see even with our negative harvesting, we're still making very good money every wave. We'll definitely take 7% crit chance. Oh, Goat Skull was the item, of course. We'll take Pearl, we'll keep upgrading our Shivs, buy the Corrupted Shard, and then we'll ban the Goat Skull for a free reroll. The Cursed Trident is pretty interesting. A cursed weapon is always a very powerful addition. We'll pick up a Lightning Shiv, and Whistle is great as well. Peaceful Bee, I don't think we really want on this character. The harvesting is kind of wasted. If we're building dodge, we'll end up building it a little bit later. I might leave the Peaceful Bee in the pool in case we end up building a lot of dodge. The question is, am I locking the Trident? I think I'll stick with Lightning Shivs for now. So I'm just going to throw in a reroll here. We'll go ahead and ban the glasses and do another reroll and lock another Lightning Shiv. On wave 5, you're guaranteed to see at least one weapon in the shop every time you reroll, so I really wanted to find another Shiv, because upgrading our weapons for the extra bounces is what's going to make this character safest and strongest. We haven't been offered any pets yet, but we will, of course, have the opportunity to get those at some point, I assume. Wait, so it looks like the lightning from my Lightning Shiv just killed... Oh, okay, it was... Wait, yeah, why aren't the pufferfish exploding? I'm actually not sure why the pufferfish are not exploding, because they usually explode from burning effects. That one did. But some of them were not exploding. I wonder if the bounces from Lightning Shiv are counting as a melee attack for the pufferfish. I actually don't know the mechanic there. I'll take the incendiary turret. It's a little redundant with our Scared Sausage, but just more damage around the map is still very good for this character. We'll take the level 3 upgrade here. And then I've got negative movement speed. I also only have 21 HP. Both of those definitely need fixing. I think I'll take the move speed first, and then we'll work on our HP afterwards. it might look a little risky to only have 20 health, but we're only on wave 7. We have time to boost that. I'll take the turret here because we have Scared Sausage, and on an elemental build, it's a good way to apply the fire. I currently have no consumable heal, but I do need to fix my maximum health, so I'm going to buy the Alien Worm. We'll look for consumable heals. That's going to be very important. And then let's go ahead and buy the Lightning Shiv, lock Ritual, and Baby Gecko, and do one more reroll. We'll lock a Lightning Shiv, and Charcoal gives us both of the damage types that we want, so of course it's a great item for us. With a weapon like Shiv that does random bouncing damage, having items like Incendiary Turret and Scared Sausage, things like Baby Elephants and Cyber Balls, can be very powerful because your damage is applied randomly, so you want to make sure that you're just dealing a lot of total damage across the entire wave. For characters that are doing very focused damage, like let's say your weapon is Stick, so you're only attacking things that are right next to you, items like Cyberball and Baby Elephant are much weaker because you'll often just be doing damage to enemies that were either ones you weren't going to kill or ones that you were going to one-shot with your sticks anyways. Whereas for a character like this, where you're doing little bits of chip damage to lots of enemies, those all add up together to keep the whole wave clear. I'll take the Fertilizer here. Losing 1 melee damage obviously is a real penalty, but even offsetting the negative harvesting is still fine. We definitely need some attack speed. Our attack speed is currently fairly poor, so we're going to go ahead and fix that. We will keep upgrading our weapons by the Ritual, which goes well because it gives us some extra lifesteal also. Ice Cube is a very nice find. We're always going to be dealing elemental damage to every enemy that we attack, so Ice Cube will just be 10% extra flat damage on top of everything we're doing. We'll ban Gummy Berserker. I could buy the Flamethrower here, but I think, again, I'm going to stick with Lightning Shiv as our main weapon. We'll buy the turret. I think I will start buying Peaceful Bees now, just because I do think I want to build dodge, just based on where the character is going. And then, nice, we'll just lock all of these items, lots of elemental damage, crit chance, and of course, Gentle Alien, one of the best items in the game. Now that I have some extra melee damage, we can afford to sacrifice the 1 to the Peaceful Bee, and it gets us started on building dodge as well. So it's a little more efficient at this point. I do need to fix my armor and maximum health. You can see that Cursed Anglerfish did a pretty good job of putting the pain on us. I'm going to let the other one just burn to bounces and fire. Just to play it a little safer. Killing that Curse Alien. So currently, as it stands, something that you should be thinking about as you're playing, this is a slight side note, but worth thinking about here. Something that you should be thinking about as you're playing is what stats you need to patch when you get your guaranteed level ups. So we had our level 10, we spent that one on 9 speed to fix our movement speed. We're coming up on level 15, so we're going to get a guaranteed level 3 level up. Currently what we need is max HP and we need armor, so we're going to buy one of those 2 stats with our level 15 level up, unless we find a lot of them in between now and then. So it's worth planning ahead for how you're going to spend those guaranteed stats. I'll take 10% crit chance here. We will lose an armor, which obviously is painful. And because of that, I'm going to take the 2 armor here. I suggest never playing at negative armor if you can get away with it. So even though we had a level 3 upgrade there, we took the level 2 upgrade because armor was more important. Lightning Shiv's inherent crit chance is, 43% currently with 35%. So the base crit on Lightning Shiv is not very high, actually, for a precise weapon. So we could keep buying crit chance. I could buy more attack speed. I think I'll just keep buying critical hit. Then we'll buy all of these items we have locked. We'll roll again. Decomposing Flesh does potentially cost us maximum health, but the lifesteal is very powerful, so the healing over time on this can be very good. I'm also just going to ban Alien Eyes. It's not something that we're really looking for, and similarly Medical Turret, and I want to use my bans early while they're still relatively impactful. Let's go ahead and reroll one more time. We'll lock the Tentacle. Lost Duck I'm going to ban just because it's a minus elemental damage item, so we're almost never going to buy it. And we'll lock Loot Worm. This is our first opportunity to buy a pet, and it's a really good one for a character that's always going to be leaving a lot of materials on the ground. So now that we have positive armor, when we hit level 15, we're very likely to spend that on maximum health, because currently we have 28 max HP. I also would really like to find a consumable heal item. In an attempt to fix our maximum health, we reduced our consumable heal with the Alien Worm, so we need to offset that as quickly as we can, because consumable heal is really important to a melee character like this one. The nice thing, though, is that our clear speed is incredible, and we're making tons of money because of the character that we're playing. So, obviously, I'm talking through the issues that the character has, the things that we need to fix, but the run is still going extremely well. I don't want to take away from that. Take the Toxic Sludge here. I think I will take the 9 dodge. I have only 10 luck, so I'm not that likely to roll these level 3 upgrades. And then we'll take 9 HP like we already talked about. So now we have a much more reasonable health total as we approach the elite fight. We'll buy all of these items. I do think the Dock Moth is going to be pretty good for this character. Taking a couple hits and getting a lot of damage at once is one of the things that we are worried about. And Dock Moth will help you heal up from that much faster. Because we only have 1 armor, I'm going to skip the sunglasses this time. This is an item that can be pretty good, but we have no crit synergy items other than 1 tentacle. We don't have a hunting trophy or anything. And the overall damage boost from the sunglasses is still fairly low at this point, because the base damage on our weapons isn't that high. And going down to 0 armor is really bad, so we want to avoid that. We will keep upgrading our weapons, though. We'll buy the turret. We'll lock the mastery. I'll throw in one more reroll here. Crystal is a really nice find. And I'll take the nuclear launcher. This is a fun weapon, and it scales with elemental damage, so it's going to work out really well with what we're doing. Also, I did say that we were going to play, taking the game a little more seriously, and you're not going to pass the nuclear launcher if you're trying to win here. So now we have enough damage that our actual weapon attacks are much less important, because we're much more frequently killing things with the bouncing shots. Nice. I love the audio cue from the whistle. I do think that was just an incredible addition. Also, it's really nice that our moths here have overlapped, because if we stand in the middle, then every tick of healing becomes 3 healing instead, because the auras do stack, so that helps us heal extremely quickly. I'll take the Blood Leech. We definitely want more healing, especially before we go into the elite fight, and we'll take 15 more attack speed. Really important to boost our attack speed as well on this character. Then we're going to combine. We'll buy a nuclear launcher. We'll take metal detector, because it's more value over time. I guess we can just buy everything. We'll take the lightning shiv. We've got 1 decomposing flesh. We definitely do not want a second one. You only ever want 1 of these in most circumstances. So we'll pass on the second decomposing flesh and just get all the lifesteal from the first one. The reason you don't want a second one is you start actually losing HP instead of just not gaining it when you level up. So it can really decrease your survivability. And more than about 20 lifesteal for most characters is just unnecessary. So 1 is plenty. And it's much easier to offset the HP loss. This is a much worse setup for our Dock Moths, of course, because they're on opposite sides of the circle. So we can't double up on our regeneration from them. The loot worm's really very helpful since this character is always going to be leaving a lot of materials on the ground. So the loot worm picking those up is extremely nice for us. And it also obviously gives us some extra money. We'll take bag for sure. I'll take the whetstone as well. Good head start on boosting our lifesteal. And then we're going into the boss wave, so I really want to roll for armor. We did get very lucky to get this level 3 armor, but that's going to be the most important stat for defending against the boss. I could actually take 60 range here as well. Range is at its best. It's still a weak stat, but Lightning Shiv is probably the weapon that range is the best with, because you typically want to start bouncing shots off of enemies from much further away, and it's very short range by default. And this is a level 4 upgrade, so I think we will actually take range here. We'll pick up the Lightning Shiv. I'll take another Whetstone. It's a very efficient lifesteal. We'll roll here. Definitely need some more max HP. It does cost me some dodge, but going up to 47 maximum health makes us much safer. And then we'll roll again. We'll be buying elemental damage, so we'll take the Snowball. I know I said I was going to play seriously, and not if you're playing seriously, you should definitely take the Knot here. It's an incredible boost to your character's chances of winning. That said, I'm not going to play so seriously that I will completely remove our ability to buy cursed and legendary items in a YouTube video. So we're going to skip Knot again. Bonk Dog, on the other hand, we'll definitely take. This is a pet that scales with melee damage, and we're playing the Loud, so we just want more damage. And we bought a lot of melee damage, so all we care about is the ability to clear the waves. The Bonk Dog is going to be really good. And this is what I was talking about with this character, is I think that the pets, when you're using a weapon like this that does kind of spread out damage and that benefits from multiple damage types, the pets are going to be a really solid addition, even for this character that doesn't have much sort of natural synergy with the pets. Gonna drink some beer here. You know, I'm not playing to win that much. Obviously, we were able to clear the elite very quickly. Well, we got basically the best possible item for the weapon we're using. 10 melee and 10 elemental damage for our lightning shivs is ridiculously strong, so we'll take that. We'll upgrade our regen. We'll get the lifesteal back anyways. I could take 8% damage or 10% attack speed. I think the attack speed is just going to be better. I could also roll for like a high-level armor upgrade, but just boosting our damage and attack speed is going to help us a lot. We'll take the Snowball here, and both the Bonk Dog and the Blazemander are incredibly helpful for our build. Again, don't want a second Decomposing Flesh. We currently have the Bonk Dog as our only source of explosive damage, so I'm going to pass on that. I'm also passing on the Small Fish. It does work with our pets, but losing attack speed is a real penalty. And the Small Fish, I think, will have a very narrow range. This is an item I've reduced my evaluation on quite a bit, because it has a very narrow range of possible damage values compared to enemy health values, where it actually reduces the number of hits that it takes against enemies, and losing 3 attack speed is a real penalty, so we're going to pass on that. We'll take the Hunting Trophy, though. We have 50% crit chance. Should be amazing. We'll take the Scar and the Pearl. Losing Luck is really bad, but my move speed is also really bad, so I'm going to reluctantly take the Terrified Onion there, and then we'll fix our move speed a little more and buy Dangerous Bunny as well. Obviously, Hunting Trophy on the Loud with 50% crit chance is going to be a pretty nice boost for this character. I'd like a little more movement speed or more baby geckos, or obviously Sith Relic, because our loot worm is not fast enough to pick up all the materials right now, and if we got it more movement speed, it would be doing better, or if we got it more material pickup, because the baby geckos or Sith Relic do pull materials to the loot worm, so we would end up with more money as a result of that. killing that cursed enemy there, and we got some help from our pets on killing the cursed enemy, which was nice. Pets also synergize very well with the scared sausage that we have, so even if we get like a Catling gun, because we have scared sausage, we might buy that anyways. Alright, do I want the compass? It costs me crit chance, we're a hunting trophy build, and I'm about to buy 10 move speed. I think I'll pass on the compass here. I am going to roll. We're level 20 here. I want to pick up 3 armor. So we're going to roll until we get 3 armor and then grab that. And then we'll take another pearl. Yes, the pearl is low damage right now. We'll need to build more luck, and we're about to reduce our luck. But it just means once you get 2 of those, they'll start showing up for free in boxes pretty frequently. So we can now build luck and have it be very reliably very good for us. Blindfold is a good reason that this character wants to build dodge as well, because we're usually going to buy blindfold just for the crit chance and end up with extra dodge as a result. But because we're going into a Horde wave, I'm going to pick up the lightning shiv there, and we'll take the beanie and lock Scar. Because I want stuff that's going to make it a little easier to clear the Horde wave. And getting rid of our last level 1 weapon, just making sure that it's a little more consistent, will make it much easier for us to kill these Horde aliens. Also, you get extra bounces as you level Lightning Shiv. I should have checked the damage of the Bonk Dog and Blazemander the wave after we got them and compared them to our weapons. That would have been nice to know. But we can still make that comparison after this wave. Of course, because it's a Horde wave, the nuke launcher will be overperforming this wave, because obviously the explosions are better on a Horde wave, but I'll take the book for just 1 point of engineering for 8, I think is totally reasonable. We'll take 3 more armor, and then I still need to fix my max HP a little bit, so I'll take 9 max health. So last wave, we dealt 15k with the nuke launcher, and actually 12k with the lightning shivs. They kept up shockingly well with the nuke launcher there. How have our pets been doing? We've got the Blazemander has dealt 7,600 total, the Bonk Dog similar amounts. So they've been doing okay. They're kind of like a half a weapon each wave, it seems like, because we've had them for, 2-3 waves. So if each of these represents half an extra weapon, they're a pretty good purchase, because that's extra damage that you simply wouldn't be able to do otherwise. We'll buy another one. We'll buy a metal plate and a plant. We'll roll here. Keep on rolling. Sharp Bullet is pretty good with Lightning Shiv. You do get the piercing damage. The Lightning Shiv shots do bounce and pierce with Sharp Bullet. And I think we can get away with the Peacock. We're very strong. I'll also take the Missile here. It gets me a free reroll, and our percent damage is somewhat low, so I want to upgrade that as well. Take a helmet to get some more armor. Now we have a much more reasonable armor, and our defenses are actually looking very good. 21 lifesteal, 20 regen, 60 HP, and 13 armor. We're in very good shape. Of course, on the Loud, your defenses need to be a little better than they are on other characters, just because there's more enemies for you to defend against. But the whole point of this character is to use your increased economy to snowball ahead of the increased enemies. One thing that I really like about Brotato in general, something that I think is just done very well in this game, is that the characters all exist for a reason, and they are often there to teach you a lesson about the game. The Loud, for example, teaches you that more enemies on the field is a good thing, because you play this character and you realize that you're wildly stronger than other characters. And that can be something that's not intuitive for new players at first, but having more enemies on the field obviously is amazing for any character in this game because it boosts your economy. And it does so by more than the increased number of enemies increases the danger, which is, in most cases, almost not at all. I'll recycle the toolbox here. We're not really building engineering. We'll take 2 elemental damage, and in fact, 3 elemental damage, because we have the snowball. Let's roll here, and I'm going to take the 12 damage. I'm looking for level 3 upgrades. I also wouldn't mind some luck. So if we found bonus luck, that would be really nice to go with our pearls. Obviously, if we don't, that's okay, but as it stands, we have 2 pearls and only 2 luck, which isn't ideal. I don't need to buy lifesteal. We've already got 23%. Let's roll here. I'll take the head injury for more damage. A little more movement speed couldn't hurt. We'll buy the beanie. I will take Cute Monkey. This is just good incidental healing, and ranged damage is not important to us. We'll take another one of those. We'll take the Clockwork Wasp and Injection. I think I'll pass on the Garden, though. Our consumable heal is at -1 right now. So Garden is less efficient, and we just don't need healing items like that, the sort of unreliable healing items. We just want items that either give us regen, lifesteal we have plenty of, so just regeneration, or we'll be kind of constantly topping up our health, like the Cute Monkeys. Regen and lifesteal are also nice because they work with our moths, which can give us a lot of extra healing as well. Killing the curse aliens here. Letting our loot worm do a little bit of collection. Also, I'm not building engineering, even though we have Pocket Factory and some structures, because those are mostly just to apply the scared sausage burning. Okay, well, we got Pearl. It's actually not a free Pearl. It's just a normal Pearl showing up in a box. We also hit level 25, so I'll take 20 luck here. With 3 Pearls, buying luck is pretty good for us. Take a bag. I think it will pay for itself before the end of the run. We'll buy Power Generator and a couple of these other items. I could cap my movement speed. It doesn't matter that we have Power Generator because if we buy speed over cap, it'll still give us damage. And yeah, our regen is fairly low. Like I said, range is at its best on this weapon specifically. And while we haven't been particularly interested in engineering, the engineering isn't irrelevant either. Take a defective steroids, and then we'll buy lure and rocket launcher, of course. We want to upgrade that as well. Now that we have piercing shots, our rocket launcher is also a lot stronger. When you have an explosive weapon, piercing is really important, or really powerful. Not necessarily important, the nuke launcher is still good without it, of course. Because if it pierces through 2 adjacent enemies, it'll hit the first one and explode, hitting the second one. Then the actual projectile will pierce through, hit the second one, and explode, hitting the first one. So you effectively double your damage against single targets when you have a piercing explosive weapon. Minus, obviously, the piercing damage reduction, but you get the idea. We'll definitely take the coffee here. We'll re-roll again. We'll re-roll again. I think I'm just going to take the melee damage. I want to be able to kill the bosses quite a bit faster. So I'm going to... And melee damage is probably the best way of doing that, because our actual weapon attacks from the lightning shivs will use it. Do I want to get a level 4 nuke launcher or 2 level 3s? I think 1 level 4 is actually better. The AoE clear speed for this is pretty nice, and it increases the base damage against the boss a lot. So I'd rather have just more lightning shivs, especially because we've built a lot of melee damage, so we're kind of fairly indexed into a damage type that the nuke launcher doesn't use. That said, because we have the nuclear launcher, I will take small magazine. Attack speed is really good, our percent damage is high, and the 2 ranged damage works well with our nuke launcher. We'll buy another one. We'll take Tyler. It scales with elemental damage, which we're building. And then go to the next wave here. Gonna kind of sit adjacent to this elite, taking a couple hits, so I'm gonna back off briefly here. Obviously, that elite is one of the ones that can catch you by surprise, because it fires in those chains of 3 attacks. And if you just get hit by all 3 in a row, if you just stand in one place next to it and it just hits you with all 3 of them, you can just die immediately. Not to mention that because it's not actually just 3 attacks, but it's 3 groups of projectiles, and they're far enough apart. Well, all the whistles here. The projectiles are far enough apart that you can, even with the invulnerability frames, after getting hit, you can get hit by multiple in the same group. You can easily take 6 hits in a row from that elite if you're not careful. And for almost any character, that's going to take you out. Yeah, we'll take the lucky coin. We've got a lot of crit, and 100 luck is really nice here. We'll take the melee damage. We'll take the laser turret. Recycle the scope, because it doesn't really give us anything we need. I've got really good percentage damage, so I could roll for armor or dodge or something like that, but let's just take 16% damage. And then we will keep upgrading our weapons, buy a Tyler, buy another crystal, and roll. Do I want the peaceful bee? I think not at this point, but I'll take the cursed bait. Alien worm I'll actually buy because my max HP is really low. Well, not really low. 62 is fine, but it's one of the stats that we could stand to improve. The thing that I really like about this run, though, is that we get to see how the pets are actually just a totally reasonable addition to a normal, well-integrated strategy. They're not, like, breaking the run or anything. You know, we could have chosen not to buy them. We'd still have, obviously, won fairly easily, because this is a very strong character. But they do give us a couple extra tactical options, and they're really nice. I think there's a bit of fear right now. I think there's a bit of doomerism about power creep in the game, in the community right now. I actually don't think the pets are particular power creep for most characters. The Beastmaster is a very strong character in general, which I think is kind of skewing people's perceptions of how good the pets are. And there's a couple characters that they're very good for, but for the most part, I think that they're just a nice on-balance addition. And, you know, as you have seen, if there's something that I disagree with or think that the devs have gotten wrong, like, for example, how the sorting doesn't work here and has the wrong default, I will be vocal about that. So you can rely on me to give you my honest opinion there. And my honest opinion is that the pets are not particular power creep. We'll take the exoskeleton here. It does cost us some healing, but obviously the rest of the stats are really good. And let's go to wave 20 and go ahead and nuke down the whale boss here with some critical nuclear launches. Stacking the bosses so that the nukes are hitting both of them and then hitting each of them twice. Obviously speeds up our clear very quickly against them, so very important to do that. All right, let's take a look at our weapons here. So, of course, we're interested in how the pets performed. They did, what's that, 65k on the Bonk Dogs and only 19 on the Blazemander. I guess was the damage being overwritten? Is it less burn than our... Yeah, it's less burn than the Scared Sausage. So the burn from the Blazemander was being overwritten by the Scared Sausage burn a lot. That's why the damage on this one was so low. I actually wonder if you have Scared Sausage, if Blazemander is just not that strong. Because it's going to be overwritten so often. But it's still a good way to apply the Scared Sausage burning. So I think it's still fine. We had the incendiary turret, same deal, it's getting the burn overwritten, but still did 8k damage. We got it much earlier, so it was much nicer there. 26k, 27k on our turrets, but also, again, very good at applying the burn, so that's what we mostly had them for. Loot Worm for 300 materials, pretty nice on the Loot Worm. 120 healing on the tentacles. We also got 420 on the bag, so we were Blazemandering it. Snowball continuing to snowball with 2 total elemental damage, even though we got it like in the mid game. We just never saw elemental damage items for the rest of the game. I really think this item needs some love. It's not even bad. 2 elemental damage for this blue item is still fine. Like, it's not great, obviously, but you know, if it gives you somewhere between 2 and 5 damage, then it's totally fine and reasonably well balanced. It just feels bad to get such small numbers off of this, so I'd like to see it do something a little more exciting. What else? We got 26 healing off the cute monkeys. We saved 113 off the coupon, so maybe a little late on the coupon purchase. 600 on the landmines, but we just bought those for the curse. And then 2,000 on laser turret. Again, these were to apply scared sausage burning. The cyber ball may have been pretty bad, though, because our luck was very low at this point, so even with our high percentage damage, it wasn't going to do that much. But overall, just a very clean win on the loud. Lightning Shiv, always a fun time with this character, of course, because the bouncing shots let you clear the wave, even despite the increased number of enemies. All right, my friends, hope you enjoyed that run, and I hope it gives you a good sense of how the pets will kind of work in the actual released balance of the game, when you're actually playing the game seriously, and I think the answer is that they are actually a pretty nice addition. As always, of course, if you have enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a comment and hit like. It helps me out with the algorithm, so I appreciate you taking the time to do that. And of course, you can subscribe to my channel for more Brotato and other strategy game analysis. Cheers, folks. I'll catch you next time.